Most welcome to you all. This is a new episode of the show, Rabbatha, Connection. And as you know, we want to make connection with you and with each other and to answer questions that you can have as a young man or a young woman about life. My name is Simon van der Lucht and I'm a pastor of a Christian church in the Netherlands, and most welcome to you all. And most welcome to my privileged guests again today in the show. Happy to have you here, Sonal and Menahil. And we want to proceed our conversation that we had in the previous episode of our show. And maybe for all of us it can be good to give a short recap, a short summary of what we discussed last time.
Yes.
Maybe Menahil, you can give a short recap?
Yeah, sure. We read from the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. And we talked about Lilith. And you gave a fabulous answer on that one.
Thank you.
And then you told us about Ish and Aisha, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, well, Isha, yeah.
Yes, Isha and
Correct, Ish and Isha.
Okay, Ish and Isha. And we also talked about other people than Adam. And you said that we could talk about it later.
Yeah.
And but we talked about Adam and Eve mostly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you told us that Eve was created by the rib of Adam.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, was Eve already in Adam's rib?
Okay.
In Adam, but as a rib.
Yeah.
Was she already there?
Okay. Good question. And before I answer it directly, I want to address all those who are viewing. Maybe you have also a question about these kind of Bible passages, and then you can give your questions in the comments of this recording. So please don't hesitate, give us your questions, and then we will try to answer it maybe a later time. So return to you, and then you say, okay, maybe you can say Eve was already inside Adam.
Yeah.
Because he was, as a rib.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is a very valuable way of thinking about it. Because when we read what God did was just that he took one man's rib. And he made from the rib a woman. It does not say, the Bible does not say that there was the woman or the female inside the male and God just took out no, he took out a rib, just a rib, and then he created
a woman,
and then Adam said, I do recognize this. And I think maybe just like a lion has a lioness, man has a woman, so they belong together. But okay, maybe then we can make another step, because there is another question I think that we can raise now. How many people were there? How many people were there besides Adam and Eve, or were they just the first?
Yeah.
Before I give a shout, what kind of thoughts do you have?
Regarding to that, there is a LGBTQ plus community right now, and those are all people. There are so what my question is actually, there are you told us men and women, and these two are only written in the God that God made.
Sure.
But where do these LGBTQ plus came from? What are those, and how can we describe that in this time?
Yeah, very good question, because this is regarding the what kind of men are there? Are there different sort of people? Not only heterosexual, but also homosexual or bisexual or whatever. But that means that can also be the development of what happened when we read the story of the Bible. When God started with a male and a female, maybe by the corruption of man through what Adam and Eve did, they sinned against God, maybe also the nature of man can be, corrupted is not maybe the good word, but maybe a kind of variations become. For example, when man and woman are fertile, they can have children.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes man and woman are not able to get children.
Mm-hmm.
It ought to be so according to what God has created, but not every single one has the ability or the opportunity to get everything that in general was meant. And so maybe also this can be the answer of how can it be that some people have this homosexual urge?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe this can be a kind of development that came after man and woman sinned, and all kind of things did not stay according to the original creation that God made.
But is it acceptable?
That's another
because
question.
of
That is
as a Bible.
the same question about man and woman. How do they behave? That's the question about behavior and what kind of things man can do when you want to live up to what God has created. But I think before we come to that question, how we behave, we have to clarify more things about what is happening in the beginning of man and woman. And maybe we can return to the question about what is the number of man that God created.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have thoughts about that?
Well, I think that God made Adam and Eve, but he didn't stop there. He made more people.
Okay.
Because how is it possible that there are so many people on earth
Yeah.
and God only made 2?
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible. He had made more people, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That can explain why there are so many.
Yeah.
And even more, if you read further in the Bible in chapter 4, we read about 2 sons of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
The famous story of Cain and Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not famous for everyone, but okay, let me explain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story about the first murder,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because Cain murdered his brother Abel. But at the end of the story, God sent him away, Cain, and then he said, I am a little bit afraid of all other men, and he goes to a city and he starts a city with whom?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's the question.
Yeah.
There has to be other ones. And one explanation that is what you say, maybe God created more,
Yeah.
or another solution can be, well, there were also daughters, not mentioned in the first chapter or the second chapter of Genesis, and maybe they have married their sisters.
It's a family.
Yeah, but okay, now you are laughing already. What kind of thoughts that brings?
Well, I don't know, but I think there's written in the Bible, I'm not sure though,
Sure.
but I think there's written in the Bible that you are not allowed
Exactly.
to marry.
So that should, if this is the case, then we feel a little bit uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because later on in the Bible it is
Forbidden.
forbidden,
Yeah.
prohibited. So, okay, then there is a third possibility. And then we have to say something about the evolution and the
Yeah.
scientific view on how things have been come to existence in evolutionary way.
Yeah.
Maybe we can first shortly summarize. What is the exact story of, let's say, the evolutionary development? Can you
From
give
the
some, yeah.
Bible or
No, not
science?
from the Bible,
Okay,
more
science.
scientific.
Now, it is told that there were monkeys, and monkeys were evoluted,
Turned into men.
turned into men. Yeah.
But
With the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And but where did the monkeys come from?
Yeah. Out of explosion or something.
No. Evolutionary says every sort of life is developed from very simple forms, even a cell,
Okay.
and then it comes to more complex cells, to more, let's say, very small creatures, and then even through million and million of years, every time there is a new development.
But why are the monkeys now not humans?
Because it says every kind of, every sort of creation keep existing when there is a new mutation, a new variation coming up. Sometimes the new extincts the previous one.
Yeah.
That is because it is weaker. And so in the evolution it is said that there are kind of monkey-like men, Neanderthalers. Maybe you have heard of it.
No.
People living in caves.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The caveman. Now we are connecting. And they are maybe got extinct because of the Homo sapiens, the next level man, because it was stronger.
Yeah.
And it was more fit to find food and everything. So that is the evolutionary way of thinking about how the multitude of people come to existence. And so if you think like this, and you try to make the combination with the Bible story, you can say, well, the Bible tells only about two of them, Adam and Eve, not telling that there are already a lot of them outside the paradise, outside the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
And then, when it is the story of Adam and Cain and Abel, it says, okay, but there are some others whom he can fear of, with whom he can make a city. So, do you understand? So you can have several options to explain why there are so many people.
But does that mean that there were more people, that they were people before Adam, but outside the city?
Exactly. That's when you follow the evolutionary way of thinking. You say God made a special place, the Garden of Eden. He put in there one man, and maybe he created indeed from this man the woman, but he left alone
The whole city.
the other ones, maybe living in caves or whatever. And now the question is, what is for us as Christians or Bible readers, what is the meaning of this story for all these kind of questions? Yeah. Okay, and before I give my answer, let's hear your, let's say, most preferable option. So now, what do you think? Just for now.
Okay, so
Is it God created more? Or they married to their sisters? Or the evolution?
I think God created more.
And why is that?
Because marrying your sister is forbidden.
That's forbidden.
And I guess it was forbidden then too.
Yeah.
I hope. And I really don't believe in science, so I don't think.
You don't not believe in science?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting one.
Well, I think. The same actually.
Okay, the same.
I think God created more because if you think about science, what science says, how is the cell made that duplicated itself or
Okay,
something else.
okay, yeah.
There has to be someone who created the cell itself.
Yeah, yeah.
It cannot be there by its
No,
own.
no.
So someone has to make the cell, I think, and that's God.
Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Now we are coming somewhere. Please listen, because I think it is not a very good option to say man married his sisters.
No.
Science does not count with God. It just counts with everything that we can count or weigh or reason about.
Yeah.
The Bible is what God says about himself, how he is as a creator, how he is as the redeemer, how he is as the God of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible tells us the story about how we have to live and why it is important to be male and female and not to murder your brother and to live together as God-fearing people. Science is not about that, and I think, and maybe next time some more, we have to think about in two tracks, the scientific track and the biblical track. And the biblical track says God created man and women, and out of them came all mankind. All mankind. Okay, so this is a little bit of answer, only a first step. Well, this tells our show has to be continued. And I am happy that you have be a partner of the show by looking. And again, if you have any question, put them in the comments and we will come later to that. For now, thank you very much, Sunal and Menahil. Thank you very much this time.
Thank you to you too.
See you next time.
Do not forget to like the video, subscribe BTL TV and press the bell icon to receive notifications.
Jesus is the light of the world.